right, I remain optimistic. Cheers.
Cheers.
Hello and welcome to My Tiny Bottles, the project where I'm exploring my grandmother's legacy of miniature liquor bottles, one tiny bottle at a time. I'm your host, Tammy Coxon, and today I'm in Chicago with my guest, Eric Williams. Eric, tell us about yourself.
Good evening, Tammy. My name is Eric. I have a YouTube channel called onesixfive that I've maintained almost since the birth of YouTube, and it runs the gamut, food, drink, cooking, Chicago history, urban exploration, travel, cycling, French macrame. Just kidding. That's about it.
That's going to be your next French macrame.
It's going to be huge.
Well, I describe Eric as my biggest YouTube fan. I appreciate your comments on all of my posts. It's been really great getting to know you through that. And so when I was coming to Chicago, I was like, hey, do you want to taste a bottle with me? And you have some experience tasting weird things.
I do. I'm still into craft beer, but I was really, really obsessive about it maybe 12, 15 years ago and went to any tasting that I could possibly find. If I was traveling and there was a brewery within 100 miles, I would go completely out of my way and day drink and carry around a notebook and all the things that beer nerds do. I've curtailed that a bit. I still drink that beer, but I'm not as obsessive.
Yeah, that's me in distilleries. If there's a distillery anywhere near where I'm vacationing, I'm going to go there and check out.
200 miles is near, right?
Yeah, sometimes. All right, so I asked you, I was like, what do you want to taste? And you're like, I'm just game for anything. And I think you commented on this episode about Opal Nera Black Sambuca. And I think we both share a distaste, shall I say, for licoricey flavored things. Not a fan.
I've had regular Sambuca.
Okay.
Well, what would you call that? Like white Sambuca? Light Sambuca?
White Sambuca.
Yeah, so I've had white Sambuca maybe 2-3 times in my life, the last time being 20 years ago. I remember tasting it because no one told me that it was anise flavored.
Right.
And you look at it and you think vodka or like a neutral spirit or something. And you mentioned that white Sambuca is heavily sweetened, and I wouldn't have said that, but that's so true. It's drinkable in that way. The flavor is kind of cloying. Then again, I never probably had quality white Sambuca either. I'm sure I had.
I'm not sure how much quality there is in Sambuca. And it was kind of invented when this guy from Italy was working with Hiram Walker, and they wanted to make a coffee Sambuca or a coffee liqueur. And he was like, oh, no, I want to do this black Sambuca, and pitched them on this other dark color. So as far as we know, it has elderberry in it and lemon. And then, of course, a lot of licorice, which I'm not excited about, but.
The big question for me is, and you probably know the answer, I'm guessing elderberries taste nothing like elderflowers.
Very true. Yeah.
Totally obviously, color-wise, Saint Germain is like amber, light amber, and this is black or
they're
purple. So
really dark.
You showed a picture of the fruit in the video. So yeah.
I'm gonna give you the duties of trying to unscrew it, because about half the time I try to undo these little bottles, I fail. So
wow, that is a little.
They're tricky.
They don't give you much to grip onto is the problem.
That's right.
Wow, you need to like carry channel locks in your bag. I got to do the shirt trick. Why is that so? It started to crack.
See, this is what always happens.
Wow. Okay. Oh, there we go. I got it.
I heard the crack. Yeah.
A little crusty.
Insert opening montage here. All right.
So when you first introduced it, when I was watching the video and I saw that it was a dark Sambuca, my first thought was that sediment, funny looking.
It's a little sludgier than I expected. Go on.
Oh, I assumed it would be coffee flavored because I've seen that like people garnish white Sambuca with coffee beans.
Yeah.
Which I don't understand since it's not coffee flavored, but I just assumed, okay, here we go. This is the coffee tie-in, but then it's actually not coffee related.
No, right. It doesn't actually smell bad.
No, it doesn't. I mean, that first hit is got the jet fuel thing, of course, but even through that, I'm getting hit fruit, a little bit of a cough syrupy type of a thing.
I get a lot less licorice than I thought, right? Like I came into this really worried about anise flavored and licorice.
I am getting that. You're not?
I mean, I get it, but I guess
It's almost
less than I.
it's almost like a little bluish. It's not really black when you see it in the glass. Yeah.
Right.
Around the edges, it is purpley bluish.
Yeah, if I hold up to the light, but I mean, it's pretty dark. You can see why they would call it.
The aroma is not terrible at all. I mean, I don't think I would order this or want a bottle, but that's fine.
That's fine. All right. I remain optimistic. Cheers.
Cheers. Nice mouthfeel.
Yeah.
Ooh. That's got a thing at the end, almost like a menthol type thing. Maybe that's the lemon.
Maybe.
Yeah,
yes.
something through the nose at the end there. I got the licorice or maybe the elderberry up front. But then there's like a wintergreen or a menthol something that burns the nose at the end.
So I got like a initial hint of licorice, and then I was like, oh, it's fruity. It's kind of nice. I like it. And then I got hit with what I think you're describing, which I initially reacted to as soap. And then when you said lemon, I was like, oh yeah, no, like that's the lemon peel.
I know there's supposed to be lemon in here somewhere, so I'm just grasping at straws looking for the lemon.
Yeah, it is so thick. And I don't know if it started that way or if there's been some evaporation. Definitely one of the better liqueurs that I've tried.
That's what I'm thinking. If you said you didn't like this, I'd be shocked.
No,
Yeah.
this is actually really tasty. Definitely thick.
That thing at the end is just weird.
Oh,
I don't know if that's lemon
No.
or what that is, or if that's some product of UV light for the past 30 years on the bottle.
No UV light. It's a completely opaque bottle.
I wasn't sure if it was or if that
I know
was
if that was
Is that glass or plastic?
glass.
Okay. I had it in my hand and I still couldn't tell. Feels okay.
Yeah.
If it's the lemon or whatever that other thing is, they could have just left that out. I think that the combination of the licorice and the elderberry totally works from what I can discern from this. And whatever other components were just, they're fouling it up a little bit.
Yeah. And then you just like get this kind of lemon pledge.
It's the lateness of it is the thing. And it's straight through the nose. It's not an alcohol thing.
But I'm like, I'm having a good time. I'm like, oh, this is a good one. Just like,
This really would work with like club soda or even something like that. It would probably get rid of some of that harshness.
we could water it down a little.
It's not a bad idea. Here, give me a hint. Thank you. Yeah, you could really see the bluish purplishness now that it's been purplishness.
I like the color a lot.
It's funny now that harsh component in the nose seems to be stronger with water. Maybe it opened it up.
It doesn't.
Maybe it'll pass.
It doesn't taste as bad though for me. I'm not getting. I don't get it on the nose. I get it like the middle of my tongue where I just kind of like go, oh, what was that? But I actually get a little less.
I think you're right. It did.
It's so pretty the way, it's got that kind of purple edge to it. All right. Well,
are there other black Sambucas like commercially available or in the store?
Probably are. I haven't looked for them.
I would think you would be aware of their existence.
Yeah.
And if you're not, then the answer is probably no.
This one does describe itself as the original Black Sambuca, so that would imply that they're trying to differentiate from other people in the market.
And when was that? Early 90s?
90s. Yeah, I think 88 or 89 is kind of when the meeting happens and the product maybe it gets underway, but 90s is when it really sells. Early 2000s is in an article about marketing to homosexuals.
I remember now. Yeah.
It's very popular in the gay community, which it's good. It's fun looking. I totally.
Well, that's interesting because I read an article a long time ago about Fernet. That the most Fernet in the country, maybe you know this already, is drank where?
San Francisco.
Yes. That San Francisco has an obsession with Fernet. And I read this article. I'm like, I have to try this now. And I went out and bought a bottle. Maybe that there's something slightly Fernet-ish to this.
Sure.
If I gave that to you, would you go, oh, I think it's some kind of Sambuca? Or would you be like, this is a Fernet ripoff?
It's not bitter enough to be an Amaro.
Okay. It's been too long since I had some to even.
I mean, Fernet is definitely got that bitterness, but that kind of menthol effect that you talk about, that kind of makes sense. I wonder what it would be like mixed with Fernet. No, that wouldn't be good.
It'd be harsh.
That was So I picked 2 bottles for us because
Thank you.
I was expecting that we would need, a reward for having made it.
I'm excited for my reward.
Yeah. So let's set these ones aside. Definitely don't want to pour anything else into that bottle, into that glass, and pull out a couple more. So I am accumulating quite an array of cognac and brandies in general, all different countries, all different styles. But this is the first of the cognacs that I discovered for Grandma's collection. I think it's bottle number 7, if I'm remembering correctly. So this is Martell Cognac. And I'll let you take a look at the bottle if you want to check it out. Nice looking bottle. It's got 70 proof on it. And this was the first bottle I think that I looked at that I was like, 70 proof, how does that work? Or maybe the second. And that's this whole weird British thing about how they...
I know now. I've learned because of you. Right? Yeah.
So it's great. I actually really like it because it's a fabulous way to start to date the bottle and kind of figure out when things came from. But that is pretty much all I know about it. It's one of the big cognac houses. So I think I spent this episode mostly explaining to people what that cognac is. Because in my cocktail classes that I teach, that's one of the things I found. People just don't understand brandy, right? Nobody knows what it is. Why would they want to drink it? It's delicious. How about you? Are you a cognac fan, brandy fan? What's your experience?
I don't know how much experience I have with brandy, but I do have experience with cognac. And remarkably, Martell is the first cognac probably that I ever tried. Maybe in the early 2000s via my dad, which is funny because he is not a drinker at all. And he got a bottle as a gift and then gave it to me, or I had access to it. And I was early 20s and just drank anything that was available, including Drake Cleaner. And he mentioned, yeah, it's good with 7-Up, or someone told me.
Wow.
And the thing that does work about that is I think that for people that don't enjoy brandies, it could be a bit harsh, and a club soda or a 7-Up, you discover the grape. I mean, these are just distilled wines, basically, which is made from grapes. It doesn't taste like grapes or wine initially, but certain things do kind of release its grape fury. So I don't feel like Martell gets any love anymore. I mean, the other ones, I think a lot of people would say I've never heard of Martell.
Yeah.
And they've heard of Hennessy and Crevassier and Rennie.
Yep.
But not Martell.
Right. And it was one of the big 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll give it some love today.
I see it. The Angels have not taken their share in however many years.
Pretty full.
I did notice it was cracked, though.
It
was that you?
Wasn't. So it was interesting. I started turning it. I was like, oh, somebody's already opened this. And then right at the end, it went crick, crick, crick.
Oh, okay.
So I think it was sealed, but maybe just knocked around. They were not stored well, right? Just literally bins. All right. So I don't know much about Martell. Like, it's not a cognac that I drink regularly. Not that I drink much cognac regularly.
I did have some Hennessy and eggnog on Christmas. It's a Christmas tradition. I mean, that is just a match made in heaven. That works so well on every level. You could give that to anyone. This aroma is so not harsh at all. The Black Sambuca, this was obviously has aged well, or you say it was stored poorly. I feel like it was stored wonderfully.
Well, I think it's a little...
You could get your nose right up in there. That's not super boozy. That's not super fusely or harsh. That's what, what people look to cognac for over just sort of generic brandy, right? Is that it should be smoother and more refined. And this is refined. I get the barrel there. It's nice.
That's fine. Hmm?
The color looks beautiful.
It's lovely. I'm not getting a ton of nose, but that just might be me. And I've also said with some of these bottles, the last brandy I opened a Spanish brandy. And at first it just didn't really smell like anything. And then as we sort of sat around with it,
swirl it
a little, or
I told you need to get the world's smallest decanter just for your tiny bottle and aerate
thought
them.
About it, aerate them a little. But then we wouldn't get that satisfying crack, right? If I was pre-opening them to aerate them.
Well, you could aerate it right now.
Right now?
Yeah.
How's it? Definitely nose coming up here. Really just, nice and mellow and chill. I wouldn't say it
I've never probably drank cognac straight ever. I've drank
Only ever drunk it in 7-Up.
no, it's 7-Up and eggnog and something.
Something.
I haven't drank a ton in my life, but that's nice.
All right, well, let's
Cheers.
do it. That was a nice gift that I gave us.
You pulled out 2 great bottles. You like warned me or scared me that you're going to pull out some toxic waste from the 70s. These are perfectly serviceable, if not good.
Yeah.
Again, the Sambuca, I don't think I would want to drink again and again, but that was a wonderful sample.
Right, I'm thrilled to have tried it.
Same.
This one I'm thrilled to be drinking as well as to try it. It's not, I mean, there's nothing I would say stands out tremendously much about it. It's a really nice, smooth, easy drinking cognac. It's got a little, definitely, you say you taste the grape when you put it in 7-Up, but here I get that too.
I'm not, no.
On the finish, I get this like, this really nice, the thing I associate with brandy, with cognac, I guess.
I'm drink whiskey more than anything, bourbon specifically. So there's a parallel here. This is almost like a jumping off point for someone that is like me because they're barrel aged.
Yeah.
So you're going to get some kind of wood in both. It's a stepping stone. I'm enjoying this, drinking it straight and neat, which I never would do. I do that with whiskey, but I would laugh to think if someone said, do you want to do that with cognac? I suddenly kind of get it, like why people do it now.
I was going to say, because that surprises me, because I think that's what most people think of with cognac, right? You put it in the snifter and you sit by the fire.
Exactly, right. But I kind of scoffed at that. Not that it's not a legitimate thing, but it's not my thing. Now it kind of is my thing.
It could be. Well, that was a surprise and a delight, and a surprise and a delight, and a little bit of lemon pledge, but you know, you didn't get the lemon pledge.
In the Sambuca?
Yeah.
It was an unknown chemical warfare agent of some kind.
Right.
Yeah.
To me, if it's citrusy and chemical warfare, then it's lemon pledge. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me. Where can people find you?
YouTube, onesixfive, spelled onesixfive. And there I am.
And the next thing you're doing is macrame.
It's going to be huge. Yes, it's trending.
And you can find me, of course, at My Tiny Bottles, at My Tiny Bottles on all the social medias, mytinybottles.com for information about the project, history, podcast episodes, video links, all the stuff is there. So check that out at mytinybottles.com. Don't forget to hit subscribe, drop a like, leave comments like Eric does, and maybe you too will someday find yourself invited to taste a bottle. In the meantime, cheers. Do I need to top you off?
Well, I won't say no.
All right. Hold on. Can't cheers with an empty glass.
Thank you so much.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.